Welcome to ImageCon, and to this session which is all about the future of digital media. I am Daniel Amitai, and I am the Vice President of Innovation at Cloudinary, and with me is Tal Ami, the CTO and co-founder of Cloudinary. These are exciting times. Advancements over the last few years have accelerated growth opportunities. With technologies alleviating many limitations, we're entering a very unique point in time where we're not only seeing new technologies introduced to the market, but also the pace of their adoption is increasing. At this point, we're almost only bounded by our imagination. Now, in this session, we'll share some of our perspective on areas that we are exploring. Due to time constraint, we'll focus on 4 different key areas with 3 different horizons. Things happening right now, upcoming, and possible future evolutions. Now, a word of caution. The future is unpredictable, and we may end up with something completely different than what we're discussing here today. The first area we'll cover is artificial intelligence and media understanding. Now, considering artificial intelligence, we can't avoid the current gaps that we're seeing in the market today. What you see here is a picture of my child, my firstborn, taken 12 years ago. Now, though it was a very joyous occasion, taking this picture and running it through the very traditional image recognition engines, we'll get a blend of very traditional tags, mostly depicting what's within this image. A baby, a hat, a duck. These are very descriptive and obviously not connected to me and my emotional connection to this image. Now, trying to tag this image myself, I would probably go with excitement, warmth, fear maybe, and with an older as miles of me, probably I would say that things were relatively quiet back then. But the market currently is focusing on trying to extract latent data from media and trying to understand what's within an image. And we're able to segment different objects within the image and understand how they relate to one another. Perfecting object detection, we now have domain-specific models trained to classify and extract specific parameters such as commerce and fashion items. We can apply these models to create different applications such as interactive in-context experience, such as shoppable videos, and search and discovery, such as shop the look applications. We can also apply these models today to find similar and semi-similar assets connected to a main asset. Now, the next phase of AI is all about being able to understand context, the relationship between different objects. Now, moving from a single frame to a video, we can have a better understanding of behaviors of objects that the wheel have the ability to turn. And most importantly, being able to uncover context in which media is presented. What's the purpose of a specific piece? How and what's the intention behind it? And how it performed and actually delivered the message. Eventually, we're going to see more aspects of data being collected, processed, and considered in media application. Being able to factor in vision, audio, natural language processing, and spatial information will allow us a better connection to the observer, providing a more personalized perspective. Media understanding is the infrastructure in which we are able to understand the world around us. It will keep on evolving, but the end game of AI is to provide simplicity. An application built incorporating AI and media understanding will allow us the freedom to create, to automate, and to discover and interact. Now, let's talk about the future of media creation and the shift from a manual process to something completely different. Media creation is now becoming more easier than ever, with many devices able to capture high-resolution images and videos, and technologies simplifying post-production. People are empowered to express themselves. With media creation becoming more commoditized, companies are now able to incorporate more shared media and user-generated content. As users become more empowered to create content, we also see a shift from applications being built only by developers to technological savvy individuals and creators, and what some call citizen developers. Next, we move on to automation. Creative processes do take time, and being able to scale is important. We have recently launched our new low-code visual task media builder called Media Flows through Cloudinary Labs. This experimental application democratizes media automation, allowing broader audiences to create at scale. The combination of media understanding and automation tools such as MediaFlow enable the ability to create relevant and more personalized visual content. Ultimately, we'll reach a point in time where we'll be only bounded by our imagination. We'll be able to create realistic media simply by articulating what we want. We see some bad of those capabilities today with generative adversarial network, deepfake technologies, and converting text to images. There are ethical aspects, but we'll expect them to be covered and discussed thoroughly as time goes by. Now, I'll be handing it over to Tal.
Thank you, Daniel. Now let's continue with the future of engagement. The way that we consume web content has changed over time dramatically. We started with a more static approach of a display window, showcasing a few products or capabilities of a product. Going forward, the expectation of the user was to engage more in a more dynamic way with the website. The ability to search and explore different products and look for the one that they care about. But even that is not enough. We want to be able to interact with the product. We want to be able to look at an image or video and click on a shoe that I like and then shop it, what's called interactive shoppable videos. Or I want to be able to take a product and look 360 on it from different angles, what's called 3D spin sets. Looking a little into the future, we see augmented reality, the capability of looking at our current reality with an extra layer. For example, looking at myself, but seeing me with makeup or dressed in a different attire or having some accessories. Or taking a product and seeing it in its context. For example, taking a piece of furniture or a piece of art, as we see right here, and looking at its particular placement in my living room. This allows me to further explore and relate to the product that I'm trying to buy. Here we see Minted, a CloudNerd customer, demonstrating this with a piece of art. If we look further into the future, the name of the game is realism. We want to be able to explore reality with some enhancement and feel like they were always there. We want to be able to see a product in its context. For example, watching a person or myself wearing some attire and be able to interact with it. For example, I want to open and close a bag and see what's inside. I want to be able to see the way that I'm dressed in different lightings. I want to feel like the product is really there. The promise here is to replace the interaction with the object in the physical world with interaction in the virtual space. This allows us to feel how this object would behave without actually being there and experiencing it directly. Now let's look at a different topic, the future of performance. We're talking here about image and video codecs. Now, we live in exciting times. The capabilities of image and video codecs have enhanced significantly recently. We have now moved from JPEG as the only really universal image format to WebP, which is a more recent format that allows even 30% improvement in size that's now universally supported. We have AV1, a video codec that's royalty-free, that's supported by a wide variety of browsers and platforms that allows us much better compression than even HEVC. Based on AV1, we now have AVIF, an image codec that allows much better compression, even 30% better than WebP, especially in low bit rates. Looking into the future, we have JPEG XL, the next generation of JPEG, coming from ISO. This is built from the ground up as an image codec, supporting any type of image content and any type of quality from low to high fidelity, giving us great compression in great quality and small file sizes. It's already supported in Chrome and Firefox under a flag, and hopefully will soon be universally supported as well. Looking even more into the future, we have some more exciting video and image codecs coming up. We have VVC, versatile video coding, the next generation of HEVC, with better encoding tools and better compression for the same quality. We have EVC, or essential video coding, which allows us to pick different profiles, whether according to whether we want a royalty-free or a royalty-based video coding. We have LCEVC, or low complexity enhancement video coding, which allows us to take an existing video codec and build a layer on top of it, which allows us to bring better resolution and better quality to devices that support it. And we have AV2, which is the next generation of AV1, built by an even wider consortium that built AV1. Work is already started. We don't know yet a lot about what's going to happen there, but it's definitely exciting progress, especially in the royalty-free world. Now, all of this is based on our capability to know whether an image or a video actually has good quality. This means our ability to predict whether a person seeing this image or video would think that this is acceptable quality. This means that we need to predict what a person would think about this image or video. Now, current algorithms give us some approximation of what people think, but they leave a lot to be desired. There is research going on to better predict how a person would see an image or video and allow us to better predict what's the right level of quality for a particular image or video. This would allow us to improve our compression without sacrificing quality. This promises better image and video compression for the same file sizes and better qualities. If we look further into the future, here are a couple of things that I'm excited about. We have super resolution. That's the capability of taking the low quality image or video and enhancing it, allow us to improve resolution, improve quality, even improve frame rate in a way that would look as if this was the original. This allows us to take user-generated content or production-ready content and use it as is after enhancement in our production. This means that we can now take photos and videos taken anywhere in any network conditions in any device and use them as if it were taken by professionals. Another exciting advance is the ability to use AI in image and video compression. Whether this is by augmenting an existing image or video in such a way that it would compress better by existing image codecs, or by having a complete end-to-end AI-based video or image compression. What we see currently in research is much, much better image and video compression, which gives us same quality, but much smaller file sizes. This means that we'll be able to consume a lot less bandwidth and allows for better user experience in terms of latencies and buffering. As you saw, there are many ways in which media is evolving. What I find exciting is that even now, there are multiple things that are already ready for use, and you can integrate into your production environments, which would allow you to give better user experience to your end users. And if you look into the future, it's even more exciting, with more capabilities coming that would allow us to improve user experience even better. Now, all these different capabilities can be confusing. There are different ways and different approaches that we can take. For this, we need to explore and decide which of these technologies we want to integrate into our environments. Cloudinary has a unique perspective, seeing a lot of different customers and different partners, exploring these technologies, doing some of the research ourselves. This allows us to be your partner in determining what is the best way of integrating these technologies, which one of them are ready and which is up and coming, and be ready for all these technology coming into the market. Thank you for joining us so far to this view of the future of media. And now we'll go into a live Q&A. You'll have the capability of asking questions in the chat window, and we'll try to answer them to the best of our abilities.
Great. We're seeing a couple of questions already in the chat, so let's try to tackle a few and start the discussion. So one question that came up is, what are the biggest barriers for adoption of 3D by brands? So I think when we're talking about 3D, obviously there are a lot of different applications. There is 3D and AR, which are much more popular and now open for most public with mobile phones and web pages. And there is VR, which is still very limited. So when thinking about the barriers, I think the first one is connected to content creation, so the ability to create objects. Still will require some help by professionals and AR artists, 3D artists, but also we see some advancement in technologies where Apple has released the phototelegraphy object capture capability, and we see the ability to import from CAD or two-dimension images to 3D dimensions type of technologies are popping up. So the first barrier is content creation. The second is more connected, I guess, into standards. So you want to create a unified experience throughout all platforms. Still, I think there is some gaps there. Probably the third barrier is more connected to providing the right experience. If it's just presenting 3D objects in web pages, and the technology is there. But then when you put AR in front of it, then there is a big difference in presenting furniture in a room like a table or sofa into presenting clothing and interacting with them. So there's some, the experience itself is sort of limited in the way that the garment will move from one place to another. And also in terms of complexity, I think, again, there is some standardization, especially on commerce, but if you want to provide a very unique experience and with the level of complexity, that will require a lot of investment on the brand side. So as long as it's very simple, that's okay, but a lot of effort is required in creating those more complex experiences in 3D. And again, we are doing some stuff on 3D and AR, especially on conversion and compatibility. We can help with that, and there are a couple of very cool things in the pipeline.
Cool. I'll try to take the next one. What is the path of synthetic media towards full automation? So synthetic media is or generative AI, as it's sometimes called, it's a fascinating topic, and we are seeing some very cool demonstrations of these capabilities coming from academia, coming from various innovative companies. The problem is that many of these are still in the research phase, which means that they do an amazing job in some cases, and these are the usual cases that we see, and not so great job in other cases. The problem with something that you want to automate, it needs to be perfect every time for you to actually use it. And in case of AI, sometimes when things go badly, they go very badly. It's not just something that looks off, it looks troubling. Something that's sometimes called the uncanny valley, where it's sometimes better to do something completely wrong than something that's almost right, but just feels very instinctively feels very bad. So I think that currently we need basically manual validation to some of these results of these generative algorithms, some sort of man-in-the-loop type validation that the actual result is good enough before it can be actually used. Of course, as research advances and things become more robust, it'll be possible to start using for more and more use cases the result of these algorithms directly send them to the world. Now, of course, another aspect that we need to look into, which is a whole big and important topic that we won't have time to go into, is this whole question of deep fakes and what is ethical to do in terms of generative media. Sometimes this kind of creativity can be, in essence, weaponized to create content that's misleading and even harmful. And we as an industry will need to make sure that what we create in this world doesn't harm others.
Cool. Another question. Wow, that's a big one. how will NFT change media? So I guess there's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, I think NFT is the great application of blockchain technology. Technology has been there for a while, and people who worked on the concept of NFT worked on that for a couple of years, and the use of blockchain is interesting to the point where its foundations are relying on the permanentability of the application, also on the tokenization of assets. So I guess the technology drove that type of experience, which is NFT, which, if you think about it on changing media, then there are a couple of shifts. If you think about brands, especially brands who are leveraging UGC and want to do it more. I think we spoke about it a couple of minutes ago on the shift between old media created by organization to shared media created by other people. An additional shift that we see is if you think about the way that applications and interactions were created, it was more around the application themselves. It was application centric. And the NFT is sort of creates a shift between the application itself to the objects and the users. Also in terms of like if all discussion were connected to DRM and access to content, then the shift is from that to probably ownership of assets. And non-fungible tokens as a whole, I think the concept itself, and it's more on the psychology behind it and something which is more connected to human needs. So whether NFTs will be massively adopted as they are right now it's hyping. You all are with things happening right now. Then I guess the human nature concept behind it is more connected to concepts like belonging, community, ownership, originality, and also the creation of interaction. So when you take those concepts that are embedded in NFTs and apply them into like I guess an area which is trending right now, you see the connection to creators predominantly right now who are looking for a new way to monetize and the effect of NFT on the creator economy, providing them the ability to distribute. It's almost sort of as a peer-to-peer distribution of content to fans and new ways to monetize allows them to become more creative and that's depend on organizations which are centralized. But I think, as we mentioned in the beginning, it's sort of a wild west where everything is happening right now and unbelievable velocities. There is obviously a lot of places where this technology can lead to, and this is it. So.
Okay, so let me try to tackle another one. How easy it is today to start using AI to categorize my images? So I guess it depends on the complexity of the problem that you're trying to solve. There are some very good general purpose models that are available from various vendors, from AWS, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and even Cloudinary, that can do general purpose understanding of objects and of scenes. If you need something more specialized, for example, if you want to categorize different attributes of fashion, sleeves, and so on and so forth, then the more general purpose models are not good enough. You need something that's more domain specific. And here you need a provider that can give you domain specific pre-existing models. Cloudinary has one. There are other companies that support that. Sometimes you need something even more specialized, and there you are in the world of either building your own with AutoML tools or using companies that can help you gather the right samples and guide you through the process of building basically an algorithm, right? A deep learning network that can help you do this kind of categorization. Now we actually have something coming up in this world that can help our customers to easily gather images from the ones that already exist in Cloudinary and categorize new images coming in. So should be interesting. Daniel?
Cool. Let's try to pick another one. You see companies using more UGC than professional photos, which is an interesting question. Then yes, I think we see more commerce companies and more brands who are leveraging user-generated content to provide a layer of truthiness. So if you want to create something which is more personalized, then the community can help a lot. And involving people, again, enticing people to share their experience with photos and then incorporating them in your media strategy. I think this is great. So we see a shift. Still, I think in websites, banners and hero images are still relying on professional photography. But there is that inclusion of UGC, and as time goes by and as media become more, you'll be able to take more professional photos with your own cameras, then it might shift. But
cool. Another one. Is there a minimum quality for super resolution to work? So one thing to understand about super resolution is what the network is basically doing is dreaming up stuff. It's basically adding information that's not really there in the original image. It's just doing it in a believable way. So the more low quality the image is, or the higher the dimension increase that you're trying to achieve, the more the network needs to invent. Current methods do a pretty good job with reasonable high quality image doing 4x. As things progress in this world, I would not be surprised if very soon we'll see even higher increases that work very well, and much lower resolution images, much lower quality images that work well as well. But this is all building something that's believable, giving the original. Of course, we can't add information that's not really there. Maybe I'll
about JPEG XL. Maybe take that one.
Sure. So when do you think JPEG XL will JPEG XL overtake JPEG and PNG as a popular web file format? So this is a great question. We don't have a lot of time. Let me just say that we already have browsers supporting this under a flag. The next phase is having them supported by default. I think that JPEG XL is superior to both JPEG and PNG. So we will see more and more adoption, but this is a lengthy process. So this is not something that, 2022, no more JPEGs in the world. This is a lengthy process that we'll see over time, but we're very excited about that. That's it. We're running out of time. We have some more questions in the queue, but no more time to answer them. Maybe next time. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of ImageCon.
Thank you.